This baby was born without his limbs and was called a freak at school. However, his story of overcoming his limitations has inspired the whole world. What limits us is usually an internal factor, not an external one. Proof of this is the inspiring story of Nicolas Jaimes Vujacic, better known as Nick. He was born in 1982 in Australia without arms or legs due to tetra amelia syndrome. Just by surviving the birth, Nick is already a winner, but this was only the first of many battles he would still have to face during his life. Every day he was learning and evolving in some way. Actions that seem easy for those without legs and arms can be very difficult for those without. Brushing his teeth, eating, and bathing alone are some of the actions that required immense willpower, but Nick has learned to cope with all of these situations. Another challenge he had to face was his upbringing. He lived in the Australian state of Victoria, and there was a law restricting students with some form of disability from attending mainstream school. This impediment was overcome after some changes in local legislation, which made him one of the first physically disabled students to have access to mainstream education. But this was the most difficult period. At that time, he had to face harassment and humiliation from the other students, who on one occasion even called him a freak. After many years of living with the ignorance and disrespect of others, when he was 17, Nick received some hope from a newspaper article that told the story of a man who had a major disability and yet had managed to overcome it. Nick says it was like a slap in the face for him, as it helped him realize that he was not alone in facing great difficulties. After finishing high school, Nick entered college and graduated with a degree in accounting and financial planning at the age of 21. After that, he began working hard to help others around the world. Nick went on to give interviews and motivational talks to young people in various countries. In addition, he created his own nonprofit organization called Life Without Limits, and also published a book titled Life Without Limits: Inspiration for a Ridiculously Good Life. He has spoken in over 50 countries, always addressing courage and faith as key points to move forward with joy and gratitude. Nick is currently married and the father of 2 children. He says that today his greatest inspiration comes from his family and the love he has for them, and that he is a fully realized man.